Hey, this is Rick and welcome to another video on how to make something. This video is going to be on apple cider vinegar. The benefits of apple cider vinegar are immense. If you read online what apple cider vinegar can do for you in your health, I believe it's beneficial for people that have kidney stone issues. The acid breaks down the stones. It's good to have in your vinegars, vinaigrettes. There's cleaning purposes, there's all kinds of uses. Look online and check out the benefits of apple cider vinegar. I also use this sometimes like an additive I put into my cat's food, into their wet food. Just like a couple drops of it now and then. The acid will actually help your cats when they have stones and crystals. We've had several issues with Maine Coon cats getting blocked up. And when they've become so severe that they couldn't urinate because they were blocked up, I found that giving this at a diluted proportion will actually clear the blockage. Now, you can consult with a vet or homeopathic vet or someone like that. Read online once again. I'm not a professional, but it has worked for us, and I'm just relaying that to you. Now, back to the vinegar making process. Real easy. I'm going to cover this pretty fast in the beginning, and then I have some other videos that I made in the past, and for some reason this first step video didn't get recorded, so I'm just going to roughly brush right through this. You can go online and look at other recipes, but this has worked for me. I have a large ball jar, glass jar, and I believe it's a half gallon because I don't think they make the gallons anymore. But I mean, you only need 2 ingredients to make apple cider vinegar, like the Bragg's and all that kind of stuff. Bragg's is pretty expensive. Man, this doesn't take long at all. I think it's like 4 weeks. You could do a couple jars of this if you want to, or use this for medicinal purposes or whatever. Like I said, look online and consult what apple cider vinegar will do for you. Real easy. All you're going to do is any kind of apples. The darker the apples, usually like a red or, the Fijis I think are usually a lighter color, different ones. It doesn't have to be in season. It's nice to get the organic ones like off a tree that you may have or a neighbor may have, because then you're not going to get the pesticides and stuff in there. And you got to be careful sometimes. You want to remove the stems, obviously. Sometimes you can use the skins and the whole part of the apple. This one's starting to get soft. It's great use for this to make vinegar. If you're making apple pies or something, or any other kind of apple treat, whatever's left over, I would discard the stems and the seeds, because I've heard sometimes that they can contain arsenic and some other properties, so you can discard those. Like I said, though, if they're organic, then I wouldn't worry about it, because I don't believe that they have those properties. But once again, refer online. You can use the skin, if it didn't have pesticides on it. If you're worried about it, I mean, I wash them real good before I do anything with them. But go ahead and cut your apples up, and whatever discarded that you don't use, you're going to load this bottle all the way up to about here. I mean, and it's so simple, it's unbelievable. Once that's filled up with scraps, the more scraps, the more the fermentation process will actually go a little bit faster, because you're going to have more of the stuff breaking down and creating the gases that will actually, start to ferment these apples into your apple cider vinegar. So once you fill this up, this is just a tablespoon of sugar, normal sugar. Some people use honey. Honey works also. Honey, I've heard, takes a little bit longer than sugar. Just a tablespoon, and you're going to want to melt this down in like a cup of water, hot water. Once it gets liquefied, go ahead and pour that into your mixture. Put in like warm water, and then take it all the way up to about here. Now, this is a trick that I do. Save the ring off of your ball jar. It doesn't have to be ball. It can be any kind of glass jar. It doesn't even have to be a glass jar. It's whatever you want to use around the house. Don't go crazy and buy especially something for this. You can if you want to. Jars are cheap, or you find one, laying around. It could be a pickle jar, whatever you have. What I'll do is I'll take a coffee filter and I'll put that right on top like that. and then put a rubber band all the way around here. That'll keep it nice and tight. It'll allow it to breathe while it's going through its fermentation process, and it makes sure that no bugs or anything gets inside there. Now what's going to happen along the way here, this is all going to start bubbling and turning colors. You may start to see like a layer of mold, like a fuzzy mold that grows on top of your apples. If you catch it early, it won't spoil the batch. You can just take that part of the apple off and just throw it away, or the pieces of that apple. One thing you want to do is you want to make sure that these apples are submerged in the jar. Submerging them, then the mold won't grow. If there's air to it, the air will get to the apples and then your mold will grow. Some people will put something weighted down on top of there, like a rubber ball or something. Something that's clean, that you cleaned up, that's not going to cause any problems or turn your vinegar any way. But I've found that as long as you put a nice layer of water in there, then it'll be okay. Hurting your batch of vinegar, no big deal. Just pull it off and keep on going through the process. In about 4 weeks, and it'll turn into apple cider vinegar, and use it for cleaning or any of the other purposes that you find online for it besides ingesting it. Just make sure it's not the edible vinegar. Besides that, I don't think you're going to have any problem with this at all. I'm going to load on the other videos of the process. So this is the 2-week time that they've been sitting. As you can see, the jars are a little cloudy now. Okay, so it's been about 3 weeks now, and this is the color that the apple cider vinegar has now started to change. You see it's a little darker than the clear water. I imagine the sugars and everything's starting to work. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop off the top here. Remove the coffee filter, which keeps out any of the bugs. And as you can see inside there, you would think that that looks like it's like a mold growth or not, but I'm starting to get an aroma. It's definitely starting to change to vinegar. But that's not mold growth. What that is, that's that mother. The mother of the vinegar is starting to form. And you can transfer that to another jar when you go to make this, and that'll speed the process. But it's definitely starting to get that vinegary aroma. So you want to make sure that most of your apples are underneath so you don't get any mold growth. Like I said, as you can see, this is not mold. It has like a slimy consistency. That's the mother of the vinegar. So we'll put this on for another couple more weeks, and we'll come back to it. And once it really turns, I'll strain all the solids out, and we'll let it finish its process of fermenting in the vinegar. So I popped off the top of the other one, and I wanted to show everybody something. You see how much moisture we lost here, the liquid? That could start to turn to mold real quick. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put some water back in there. What's happened is the apples have absorbed the water, and just keep that in mind. As the fruit starts to go through its fermentation process, it may absorb some of the liquid, and then, or even evaporation may have taken some of that down. Then you want to strain out all the solids. That's all the peels and all the cores, and you see that stuff floating right there. But anyway, you strain that out and just take that off and put that off to the side. That's like a gelatin substance right there that's floating, and that's what they call the mother. And that turns the vinegar faster. And if you want to start another batch, you can put that mother into another glass and start over another vinegar batch. It'll start it off a lot faster with your solids, of course. So now you take these out and you discard them, and then I'll just take the contents of the liquid and I'll reapply it back into the jars, put the coffee filters back on, and in 4 weeks we should have some good vinegar. There's another one going right there, and I may mix that in to get that going a little bit faster. Okay, so this is the last step. After you've gone ahead and poured off your liquid into a container that you're going to store it in, smell it. and you'll know whether it's the consistency you want. If it's really strong, or just take a little taste of it. If it's got that, real vinegary, strong type of vinegar type of smell or taste to it, then you're good to go. Go ahead and cap it off and you're ready to use. If it still isn't there yet, you can just leave this off and put like a filter or something on top like we did when we first started the process, and it'll keep on fermenting even stronger. So that's it. That's the rest of your vinegar making process. Let me know how you make out. Give me some feedback, and once again, please subscribe. You never know what video I'm going to throw up next.